You're the same. I'm fussy who comes in my house working. I think I've heard the question. I just got to be careful how I answer it. The standards are nowhere near as good as what they used to.
You wouldn't accept them then?
Oh my God, no.
It's not the image that you want.
Exactly. So people need to be respectful. One of the policies that on starting this company was we ain't putting up with no rubbish. We're a great company, or WeFix is a great company. I said, all we do is turn up on time, we do the job and we collect payment.
You expect high standards. But every business I've ever sort of met want the best people. The problem is they want best people for peanuts.
If you're doing something that you like, yeah, then it's a winning formation. I believe we're all good at something.
But if there were like 3, 4, 5 things that you could say to any trades business, get this bit right, what would be the kind of keys to help most of them grow? Welcome back to another episode of Success as a System. I'm Mike Greene. I'm here again today with Charlie Mullins. Doesn't need any introduction. The world's most successful plumber, the world's richest plumber. But it's not all about plumbing. He built Pimlico Plumbers, and that was an amazing brand, a global brand. Charlie sold that 3 years ago, or just over 3 years ago. But despite being in a position to never have to work again, Charlie's decided he wants to go with WeFix. There's still that passion, there's still that energy, there's still that desire to do something, but to do it differently now. What is WeFix, Charlie?
Well, it is what it says, WeFix London.
But not just plumbing.
Not just plumbing, it's going to be all the services that we've done in the past, previous company, heating, plumbing, drains, electrics, carpentry, roofing, decorating, all and anything within residential property, top class residential property.
And, you know, this is really interesting to me. I work with a lot of trades and they think, oh no, I'm a plumber, or I'm an electrician, or I'm a carpenter. What was it, what was the point at which you realised, actually, I'm a plumber by background, but it can be all trades. It should be all trades. Why? What made that change?
Well, very early stages when I was a self-employed plumber, you know, you needed to get floorboards up or bath panels, and you know, I don't think plumbers are the best at, you know, removing them types of things and,
right,
and replacing them. So, you know, at that time, 50 odd years ago, I'd just have a carpenter with me or another tradesman, an electrician, and I found at the time that you know, wherever I was going, it's more than just plumbing kind of thing. And trying to get good tradesmen, recommend good tradesmen, it's a nightmare. And it still is a nightmare because you've got no control who you recommend. And it's great when you've worked with people for years and you say, I can recommend. Anyhow, I was recommending, oh, this electrician do it, and they was letting us down or letting the customers down. And I just thought to myself, I need to.
And that reflects on you if they do a bad job.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, they don't meet your standards if they don't work for you. Yeah. So it became obvious I need to employ these people. And it just grew from there. And it becomes so much simpler once you...
And customers want one phone call, I want a new bathroom, I want a new kitchen. More so, they want the whole job done with one contact.
That's right, because I think they've trusted you to come in their property. They've got faith and trust in you, and you do a good job. And you know, now they've got to get somebody else, and you're involved with it. It might not. So, and they all automatically know he's just done that good. The next guy that comes in, he'll have the uniform, the van, the quality, no ripping off. It's an obvious thing, really. It's just so obvious. And of course, each trade helps each trade to get work. Customers love it. Simple, yeah.
You know, if you think plumbers are expensive now, just wait for another 3 or 4. You look like that.
Well, your prices, I mean, come on.
No, but you pay for quality. People will always pay for a good service, and you know, in plumbing, cheapness is the dearest. Are you very sort of hands-on?
I'd rather have one of your boys come and do it. No, I would. Of course I would. I mean, I take the view if I try to do anything with plumbing, I'll make such a mess of it. You know, I wouldn't take that risk. I would not personally take that risk.
But you also got to remember, you say we're expensive. I mean, the fact that we turn up on time, we're smart outfit, you get the job done, we're very transparent, and your work's guaranteed. I mean, how is that expensive? You know. Are you agreeing with me? I'm not sure.
No, I'm just saying that there is a perception that it's expensive, but I was teasing you.
Yeah, but...
you've done well, you've made a lot of money, haven't you?
Well, the business has done very well. I mean, you know, we're turning over 50 mil, it's been a record year.
if you're going to give the best, you can charge the best. You know, some trades will say to me, oh, I've got to compete with box boilers, or I've got to compete with this company. And I say, well, do you think Ferrari worry about competing with Fiat? You know, but there's customers for Ferrari. But you do charge more. People, you don't hide any of that. They get no surprises. They can go on your website. They can see if it's this trade at this time of day, that's the hourly rate.
Transparency is very important, more so today in business than ever. Because people can check things out. People's standards are higher. People are not prepared to put up with cowboy people and you know, people not finishing the job. It's not that we're doing anything over the top. It's just that other people are not doing it, and we're only doing what someone would expect.
But it's open, it's honest, it's transparent. And also, if they don't like your prices, they'll go somewhere else.
Look, people have a choice who they use, but people will always pay for quality. And the previous company I had, I think we was London's top service company. Nobody could touch us, head and shoulders above. Things have changed there a lot. That now you might as well get a council worker in. You know what I mean? You got like, you know, sort of I don't know, Mohammed or fucking Winston or someone turning up. You know, a lot of them can't speak English, and this isn't a racist thing, but if I have someone in my house, I need to know what's going on. I don't want like, you know, somebody like talking like a different language to me or don't understand me.
My wife hung up on a call 2 days ago, and she said, I felt really bad, but I'd said, sorry, pardon. And she said, I was feeling bad because I couldn't understand. The accent was so thick and strong, but I couldn't understand. But also I was embarrassed because I felt like I was being bad to them because I kept having to ask for, and then I was thinking we shouldn't have to feel bad if we, you know, if you went to Dubai, and I know you do go there a lot, you know, they got rules, they got laws, they got cultures. You honour that, you respect that, you become part of that. So I think that's about good customer service. Now, the other thing I want to get onto with charging, your ability to charge, and the service, and recognising the customer's king and what do they want, and reflecting that is, I noticed on your website, 24 hours a day, WeFix, 365 days a year, any time of day. And a lot of people say, well, people don't want it in the evenings or in the early mornings. And I said, do you know there's 9 million people working nights?
Yeah.
Policemen, nurses, taxi drivers, all these people. Well, they ain't going to be around in the day to have someone come round. They're glad if someone come in at 10 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning.
I mean, we used to do a hell of a lot of work out of hours with the other company, hell of a lot, because people plan it that way. You know, London or UK is pretty much 24 hours now, so you know there's a lot goes on at night, and you know, even they book jobs. I want a new lock on. You think, why are you booking at 2 o'clock in the morning? But that suits their lifestyle.
It suits them, and they're willing to pay a premium for it.
Well, of course. I mean, you know, people will always pay for quality, Mike. And you know, if you can get someone to turn up when you want them, of course you're going to pay more. You know. I mean, we always try and ask the customer, what time would you like? You get a customer, we say, look, we have an appointment, you can have anything AM. And if you push them into 8 o'clock, they might say, well, I've got bits, could it be 10 o'clock? And if you can marry that up, you're getting off to a good start.
Well, it starts with their needs, not yours, doesn't it?
Of course, you know, exactly, you know, to offer someone the time that they want. Don't get me wrong, it's an emergency. How quick can you get here? You know what I mean? All right, we'll get there within the hour.
But it's interesting because I know you know, and he's a mate, Alfie Best.
Alfie, yeah.
I'm CEO and a shareholder in Best Wealth. His venture to help people make more money, keep that money, grow that money, and so on. But and he does some mentoring directly with businesses that are at that level but want to scale. And just a month or so ago, he was working with a trade-based business, and they were saying, oh, we got there's plenty of business, Alfie, and we can grow, but we haven't got the money for the infrastructure. And he said, what money do you need? So we've got to buy new vans, we've got to buy new tools. And he says, well, why? And the long and short of it was, they were working like 10-hour days, and he was saying, well, that same van, those same tools can be used for the other 14 hours. You know, you don't need new vans, you don't need new tools, you just need them working and sweating more. So it's not just about the customer, it makes good business sense you've got to be sweating that asset, don't you?
Yeah, you've got to have common sense. I mean, again, when I come up with this 24-hour business, the last place, we have people in, we always have people in, there'll be security, there'll be canteen staff, there'll be van washer, there'll be call centre staff, people on call. You know, in other words, like, the way I look at it, you've got a building, you're paying the rates. If you was renting it, you're paying for the rent. And I think it's a 24-hour, that's what they're charging you. Why only be there 10 hours? That's my take on it.
Well, and it's not exploiting the asset that's costing you a lot of money, is it?
That's right, but a lot of people go, I said, look, if I've had a shop in the past, different shops, and I say to people, they go, oh no, I'll shut at 5, don't do Saturday or Sunday, really? So sitting there, all them hours is costing you another grand or two, and you're not even covering your costs. I don't understand people's mentality. My take is, if you're paying for it for 24 hours, you know, why don't you use it?
I think it's an amazing thing to start a business from nothing and to cash it up at the other end. I think that's the ultimate in business. Thinking back on it, I've had a hell of a lot of money go through my hands. My accountant calculated that and said, probably with wages and everything, what you sold the business for, probably over £200 million. And, you know, I think for the last 3 years, you know, I've been celebrating that sort of successful business.
I came from the tube, I walked through, and literally, I don't know, 100 yards, 200 yards there is Pimlico Plumbers. And walking past there, immediately I realised that you've stepped it up again. The branding is so simple, so clean, not loads of busyness around it. And yet when I walked past the Pimlico vans, they were really busy. The messaging was kind of diluted. So in that time out, the 3 years that you had to do an anti-compete and whatever, were you planning it through a bunch of that time, thinking about what if I did it again, what would the branding look like, what would it be, what would it
Yeah, I mean, I think when you come away from selling a business, successful one, you still look at what I should have done and what I could have done and what would have I done and would we have been better. And of course, you would have done if I put all the ideas in. And all of a sudden, I've got all these. Like now I advertise, say, on the radio, or now I'll advertise, you know, on. You know, differently on the vans. You know, things have moved on a lot in the marketing world. And you know, I have a marketing manager with the previous company. He's still with me now, worked with me for over 40 years. I'll give him an idea, and he'll make it happen. Whatever the idea is, he'll make it happen. And he taught me a long time ago. He said, you know, marketing and PR. He said the key word is recognition. And he said, it doesn't matter where you get recognised, billboard, shop window, directory, Google, TV, radio, magazine. He said, it doesn't matter where you get seen. He said, it's called recognition. And he said, if they happen to recognise you for the right reasons, that's it.
And keep it simple.
That's it. To me, that's what marketing is about, recognition.
And there were other bits that were recognisable that you brought into Pimlico that are becoming, it feels like they're becoming common threads as well, like the private number plates that are a bit of a call out to the trades, and that you're doing that again.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So give me what are the things that worked in Pimlico you're bringing into this, and what are the things that you never did in Pimlico that are new? Are there a couple of examples?
Hopefully. Well, everything we've done on marketing in Pimlico works. Whether it be the oldest employer in Europe, we had what they call little sort of toy replica vans made up. Wonderful thing. We massive sort of advertisement on their roof. Very controversial. We had a big bollocks to Brexit sign. 1 million people a week going through it.
I went past on the train. Sorry, I went past on the train.
Yeah,
it was on the big water tower thing, wasn't it? Or on the offices.
That's it. Yeah, it was. It's
in like 3 metre letters or something.
We had things even on their vehicles in the reversing. We had a song. So and it, you know,
okay.
Pimlico Plumbers are on their way. So everyone was like looking. So and the uniform's got to stick out. And yeah, anything you can do for recognition, do it. And there's so many things. We had pens where the Pimlico Plumber van moved. We had other pens. I'm laughing, but I didn't like it at the time. And evidently it was me. It was me with like blonde hair sticking up on the pen. But it was fun.
Memorable.
Memorable. And we're going to do it here. Just and just anything different you can think of. And you just got to go for it. You with me?
That's an interesting thing to me, because one of the things to talk about a lot, certainly when growing a business or mentoring a business, certainly from early stages, they think, because I'm a good plumber, because I'm a good electrician, because I'm a good dentist, because I'm a good architect, I'll have a successful business. And I try and say, well, being a good plumber is the bloody entry level. Being a good dentist is the entry level. But that don't build a business. It's the people, the marketing, the money,
Exactly.
all of those things. It's those other bits that make a skill into a business.
Exactly. I mean, as we talk like that, and you just sparked me off on something, again, I learned many years ago, you can be the best plumbing company in the world, or the best tailors, or the best sandwich shop, but if no one don't know about you, it's no point.
Yeah.
And an example was given to me at the time. There's a reason why Marks and Spencers are in the high street and not in like a little back alley.
Yeah.
They need to be seen.
They've got to be seen. But also, and I know you, from our last two podcasts, you are, and I say this in a positive sense, obsessive about the quality of service, the quality of your team, the quality of the uniforms they wear, the presentation, and the job they do. But you could be fairly average in many businesses. With marketing, you're still the biggest. And I use the example often of Coca-Cola is fucking sugary water. But because of their marketing, it's the most drunk drink in the world. McDonald's isn't the finest food in the world, but they're the biggest restaurant chain. Yeah. So what I say to people is, I can go to Daniel Clifford's in Cambridge, Michelin 2 stars, amazing chef. The food just melts in your mouth and it is like an experience like you've never had. But and he's well known for what he does, but also he's got to work harder. That's because he's got one location to pull people into.
Yeah.
The McDonald's have got it everywhere. They see it everywhere.
Yeah, of course not.
So it is that reach, that marketing. And I guess that probably is part of why you don't just need to be a plumber anymore, because it's about, you can do anything with the right brand. You can bring people into that.
Loads of people you meet, Mike, and I've watched many of your podcasts and different interviews, and some guys out there are good at their business, good at this, good at that, but they're not busy, but they can't work it out. They're like, I'm a master craftsman. Oh, look what I built. Yeah, wonderful, but who knows about it? It is this thing, recognition and marketing, and it's an old one. People used to say to me years ago, we was probably the first plumbing company to take on a PR company. And that was in about year 2004, and I'm still with one of the companies now. It's important to get recognition and get out there. So I've never seen a better name for a PR company. What's it called?
PR?
No, you're going to say recognition.
Oh, recognition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What a name.
Well, it's obvious once you say it, but it's not obvious to you.
No, but you understand what I mean? When they said to me, someone introduced me, and they went, it was quite strange. Woman from Leeds doing all these doors she came down to do all these garage doors for us. Evidently, she's quite well known in Leeds, like quite famous, loads of dosh, famous for these doors. And one of the guys said, she wants to come down and, do a few photos with you and put it in a magazine. I'm like, okay then, Well, yeah, is that what you do? I don't know. She came down and we do the photos. She's going to put them in a normal magazine. I thought, Christ, love it. She pulled that off. And she said to me, what company does your PR? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What, we're not like that.
That was a new thing to you then?
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I went, what do you mean do it? She said, you have to have a PR company. Oh, do you? And it seems obvious. And recognition was who she used up in Darlington.
Okay.
I signed up with them. I've never looked back with them.
And now I know you do massive. Yesterday you were saying you did about 8 different things on
I think yesterday 2 TVs, 2 newspapers, and a radio. The amount of publicity you're getting from that, and I'm not putting shit out there. I'm putting things like this is us as a company. I don't believe in these workers' rights, and we've all. It generates interest, whether people like you, don't like you, whether they're going to use you or not. But I mean, 5 things yesterday. They've all gone out probably now. Phones will be ringing to say, I see you on GB News yesterday. I don't agree that you moved to Spain, or I don't agree this, or I do agree. Can I get a job done? When I sold the company was, in 2021, and it was about 140 odd mil, and it sounds a lot of money, and no doubt it is, but I've been spending it on celebrating and enjoying life, really. I've had, some amazing holidays in Dubai and staying in the Al Burj Arab, which is about 125 grand, for a few weeks. Rolls Royces, Bentleys, private jets, flying backwards and forwards. And then property, but I probably thinking back on it, I would say the best thing that I've spent my money on over the years was
this penthouse flat that I have on the river. Tom Jones is our neighbour, like, you know. I know it's not unusual, but
I mean, look, you're not scared of a bit of a fight. A lot of people would say, I'm not opening a plumbing business there or a trades business there. Bloody Pimlico are just down the road. You know, you're happy to go there. And to me, it makes me think about, and they are literally just down the road. It's a bit like if you go down the street and there's a estate agent, there's probably 5 because I might not like that one. I might walk in and that one ignores me. I can go next door kind of thing. So you're not afraid of a fight. You're happy to take that on. Did they keep the ethos of what you did, or have they gone backwards a little bit?
I think I've heard the question. I just got to be careful how I answer it.
Okay. You've probably got
no, look, it's not a problem. The what's generally out there now, that the standards are nowhere near as good as what they used to be.
You wouldn't accept them now.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God. I've seen some of their engineers walking around ponytails, like earrings hanging out their nose and things, and like, you know, cut me here, and, you know, I'm a cunt up here, and shorts on, and people have sent me pictures in plumbing supplies, and they go, this guy's working for them. You wouldn't let him in for an interview. Right. And so the standards of, you know, of any business is about the quality of people you employ.
I remember you saying on one of the early ones that during your apprenticeship, you kind of made a mental note and scribbled down, these are the things that people don't like about plumbers. You know, turn up late, make a mess, ask for a cup of tea. And your business plan was as simple as, I'm going to do the opposite and be the best of all them. And as you were talking just then, I was chatting to Ashley earlier, and he was saying, like, obviously technology has moved forward a little bit. So you can say Ashley's on his way, he's going to be there at 9:10. No. Here's a picture of him. Yeah. So because people are scared about who might knock on their door, especially in a city, but they know this person's coming, it's at this time, this is his name, this is a photo of it. So all of a sudden you're overcoming all of those kind of concerns, those fears, that security that people have got now. So stepped it up again. Yeah,
well, we overcome it at the time because uniform, identification, letting the customer know. We overcome it then, and now to just improve that, I think we just got that bit more personal contact with the customer. You know, it's going to be Jimmy so-and-so that's come. He's qualified at whatever. And people need to feel safe, and to make them safe is turn up on time, be respectable as you look, and get on and do the job. So take all the element of that out. I mean, I'd imagine you're the same. I'm fussy who comes in my house working.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I've gone to places where we're doing estimates and you've got a guy there and you think, is he broke in to rob the place? And he's doing something, and I'm thinking, it's on the phone. I mean, if somebody comes at my house and they're on the phone at the door, I'll just close the door, and, you know, they ain't walking
when they're ready to communicate, you'll communicate with them, but you're not going to, like, yeah.
And if they're in there on the phone, you know, I was just going to say to them, look, you know, it's not what I want. Could you leave the calls and get on with the job? We're all right for the odd 1 or 2 calls, but you got one, I'll see you in the pub Sunday. Yeah, cool. We had a blinder. Yeah, we fucking, you know.
It's not the image that you want.
Exactly. So people need to be respectful.
Over 60% of tradespeople in the UK are saying they're working harder than ever, but not seeing any real growth. So many people, when they set up on their own, leave a job to be able to make more money, get more freedom, and yet often they find themselves trapped into working more hours without actually making more money. I've worked with hundreds of trades across every different skill set. What I can tell you is, at different levels, from someone who's just got to the 100 grand, but they're struggling all on their own, to someone who I'm working with who's got a 35 million pound property portfolio, the same problems exist. And if you don't fix those problems, you never ever scale. We often learn how to do our skill, the plumbing, the electrics, the carpentry, but we haven't learned the tools of how to turn that into a business, the finance, the marketing, the selling, the building winning teams. Through my proven strategic mapping and planning session, which I've built over 20 years and helped thousands of businesses, I have helped most businesses that I work with double their revenue within a year, double their profit within a year, and then we start to see the real scaling. Some of them have 10x'd their business within 3 years. They do it while working 20% less hours on average. The reality is it's the distractions and the lack of systems, lack of process, lack of knowledge that is making us have to work harder. In reality, most people I work with, I'm telling them to do less but better, focused on a key strategic plan of where they need to go and what they need to do to get there and the partners they need to help them along that journey. I help them get off the tools, double their turnover without being tied to the business. I've worked with so many tradespeople that I'm supremely confident that I will double your business. I will bring in more sales, I will get you off the tools, and I will help you run your business without being so tied to it. If that hasn't happened within 6 months, I'll work with you for absolute free until it does. I'm confident to give that because I know it always does. We make that transition and we move forward. Download my free guide, the 5 systems that every trade business needs to scale to over £1 million. Business is business is business is business. Everyone thinks, oh, it's different in plumbing, it's different in dentistry, it's different in architecture. In retail, we used to get the same thing. And I had a research business that I built here, America, Australia, New Zealand, whatever. And we track it. Now, let's say you take a convenience store, a petrol station. Now, you go there for your petrol, but you might think, oh, I'll pop down there and get a pint of milk. Now, you go there out of a need, or I've got to call someone because my boiler's gone. It's a need. Yeah. So it's an emergency, it's panic. But if they come and they're amazing, you think, oh, I remember their number, or the branding's so good that you can't forget it kind of thing. Yeah. And we tracked over time. And what you find is that, let's say in a convenience store, the first time a customer comes, they might spend £3, loaf of bread and a pint of milk. Yeah. But then they get good service. And it's clean, and they've got good availability, and the prices are not cheapest. They certainly wouldn't be in convenience stores relative to supermarkets, but they're reasonable for the convenience I get. And we track over time that shopper will not only increase their basket to 2 or 3 times what they started, their frequency, they'll come back more often. Yeah. And then they become super fans. I mean, I bet you've got people who are promoting that and saying, you need to use WeFix. Well, what better advertising than that?
Of course. I mean, as you say, you can't get better than WeFix Fitter, no, but you can't get better than personal recommendation. And the only way you can get that, you've got to tick all the boxes.
I like they can't get better than the WeFix Fitter. That came from somewhere else, didn't it?
Yeah, remember the WeFix tires.
If it works, take it.
Quick fit, wasn't it?
Quick fit,
yeah. Can't get quicker than the WeFix Fitter.
So can't get quicker than the Quick Fit Fitter.
That's it. Well, we were trying to have this as a slogan with our company. We haven't quite got there yet, but I've got a market man working on it. We will
have like a good customer competition.
Yeah.
See what customers come up with. They're often great. But another thing you do, and I want to get this out if I can to any, and certainly on any trades. Part of the problem is trades aren't charging enough. If you charge enough, one, you make money, which is what we're all in bloody business for. But 2, if there's a problem, you've got some capacity to go back and fix that problem and so on. So you do that. But a lot of them, they say, yeah, but I've had to have the salesperson, and the customer rang in and the salesperson went out and I had to cover his time and I had to cover his petrol. And then we had to give him a quote, and we give him a quote, and then they sat on it for a few days. We had to ring them up. So we needed a call centre to ring them up. And then they maybe came back. Maybe we converted them. Maybe we didn't. You've cut all of that out. And literally, because you're publishing your hourly rates and everything else, literally someone calls in or even goes on a website, and on that phone, without even a visit, several jobs will be quoted, fixed, done, and they could be doing it this evening. Not I'll come this evening to give you a price.
Yeah, look, you've got to simplify business, Mike. And I'm not telling you, sorry, I don't mean it like that.
No, I get it.
You know, you what you don't know about business ain't worth knowing. But you know, people complicate things. You don't need to complicate it. You know, got to meet this one, got to do this, got to do. Oh, hold on a minute. Like, you know, look, I used to always say to everybody, the company we had or the company I've got now, we don't do anything clever. We just do the right thing.
And where did that come from for you, though? Because a lot of businesses, they start off with that, and then they start employing some people, and then the accountant or somebody will say, or we need this new system, and you think, oh, well, they know that better than me, I'll get that. And it's businesses that become complex. So what you get is, and I see a lot, is a business doubles, and it doubles, and it doubles. And then bit by bit, they become like a super tanker that's growing at 1 or 2%. And it's because they've overcomplicated it. They've brought in too many systems. Do you actively look to take complexity out? Do you train that in? Is that a kind of value in the business? Where does that come from for you to keep it that simple?
Yeah, I think only get the people involved that need to be involved. You know what I mean? And look, I'm just going to simplify it. When I say to people, they go, "You're a great company," or "WeFix London's a great company." I said, all we do is turn up on time, we do the job, and we collect payment. You know what I mean? Like
the icing on the cake that you do though is, more than anyone else, and I've seen it on your website, you give a longer work guarantee, 18 months. Most people only give a year. And I saw on the boiler guarantee, 12 years guarantee.
Certain boilers manufacturers.
On the manufacturers thing.
Yeah, we got special deals with.
So when you get the right people at the right quality, you're happy to put the guarantee behind it. And that's another comfort that you give to people.
Well, that's exactly why we changed their guarantee from 12 months to 18 months, because we're that confident with the people we employ or take on. And one of the policies that on starting this company was, we ain't putting up with no rubbish. And you know, whoever it is, if you ain't, we know within a day or a week, if you're not to our standards, it's finished job. I don't care who you are. And that's how we are. And already we got rid of a few people that came on board.
Well, funnily enough, I met a plumber who used to work after our last podcast, and I met him at an event, a trades event, and he said, I used to work for Charlie, and he's full of praise for you. And then he left once you sold it. But he said, and this blew my mind, he moved 80 miles from outside of the M25
for the job
to come and work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess you're probably inundated with people who want to come and work here because you pay more, you give good.
You're probably right there. We're getting a lot of people from the old company, and we've worked their figures out. It's a strange way of putting it. Like, I used to think we had the best tradesmen, but standards have dropped and people have gone. and I said to somebody that's involved in all this recruitment and involved with 2 companies, I said, how many people would I give a job to on the old company now? He said, you would not touch 90% of them.
Because you raise your standard again.
Yeah, and they've dropped. He said, you would not touch 90% of them. So now, if we get people from that company, like if 10 people come on the phone, they fuck 9 of them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's not a good place to be looking now. You with me? So they tell me we've got a couple of plumbers or heaters starting next week now, and they said the good news is they're not from the old company, and that's brilliant because you know I'm going to have 10 people in the door, 9 of them ain't right, and you know we got it right here. You know.
No, I see it.
People walk in. And from that moment, if it's not comfortable, I always look at the person, Mike, and I'm looking at you on the basis, you turn up my house, do I want you in my house? Am I comfortable? And the answer is yes. And that's how you have to look at it. But if I get, if there's a plumber or an oddball walks in there and he ain't right, if something don't feel right, then it's a no. I mean, unfortunately, you can't just say you're not what we're looking for. I mean, we don't lie to them. I mean, but I can't say like you look a fucking like scrappy bastard. So we just sort of say, this is what we do. We don't interview them. If we don't think they're right, we don't interview them. Oh, if you can just fill that in and we'll give it. And they go, oh, I thought it was coming for an interview. Well, you know, we go through this stage. And don't get me wrong, if they want to get Larry, I wouldn't have come down here, but you already know you don't want.
But you don't want average. You want exceptional.
That's right. I mean, look, we advertise it in a way, and people know me. People go, "Oh, he's a cunt." Like, you know, if you turn up late, he won't see you. This, you know, we're flexible and we're normal and we're realistic. But you know, if a geezer's like, "Oh, I'm running late, the fucking M25, and then another hour, I'm just going to have something to eat." Oh, let's leave it. You know what I mean? You just
and also, if they can't get here on time for an interview, are they going to be bothered about getting on time for your customer?
That's it. Look, you know it works, Mike. I mean, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's harder to get from A to B, and there is excuses. But I always find when you're telling someone the reason why you can't do it or you didn't get there. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, like when we,
Because they can hear. They they won't.
I mean, we used to. A lot of companies go, "Oh, plumber's van broke down. Plumber light broke his leg. Plumber had a row with his wife." Why don't you just
Dogs on eat.
why don't you just fucking say he went out last night with his mate? He's had a late night. You know what I mean? And people relate to that. I mean, many times we say, "Yeah, look, evidently, you know, he's overdone it." You know what I mean? But people come up with all these silly excuses, and you already know by the excuse the quality of people you're dealing with. I say, of course, never tell a customer a lie.
They can hear it. The voice.
You know, if Jimmy says that, you know, he's drove his van, or Jimmy says the car ain't starting, or he's had a personal dispute with the old woman, just sort of say he's got a personal problem. But, you know, never go in with, oh, the traffic's 2 miles long, and, you know, then he got pulled by the police, and then they blocked the roads. And you find the honesty, customers not stupid.
No, and they live real lives. They don't expect perfection, but they expect honesty, I think, in terms of that. But one of the things I want to get to is you expect high standards. But every business I've ever sort of met want the best people. The problem is they want best people for peanuts. So as an example, I mean, tell me to bugger off if you want, but if the average cost of an engineer, electrical engineer, plumber engineer, across the UK was 45, 50 grand to employ, and in London it was 60, 70. What percentage more would your guys be able to earn when you get the right people?
Well, a good tradesman coming with us, 100 grand minimum for the year, and that can go up to 200 grand.
So, I mean, it is life-changing relative to outside of the...
when people can't believe what you can earn, you've got to have the qualifications, you've got to put the work in, you've got to be right, you know what I mean? And then, you know, someone else to say, oh, you know, plumber around where I live, you know, he earns 30 grand, you know what I mean? And, you know, he don't start till 10 and he knocks off at 3 down the pub. You know, different people. But, you know, whatever job you do, I think potentially there's earnings there. And you just got to pick what the slot, you know, there's no point working for the council and expecting to be 100 grand plumber. And there's no point in working for, you know, building sites because you're on a limited thing. We do a personal service. We don't have nobody in between, and we don't work for builders, estate agents, architects, generally busybodies. If we're doing business,
trying to rape you on the price.
Well, they're taking their percentage. The only one that gets a good name is them. And I've had this conversation with people, and they look, and I'm talking. I think you're a good trader. They go, yeah. See, the problem is, I do this builder's work, and now he don't want me, and I think you're fucking clueless. I'll tell you what I find frustrating, Mike, about this. Often at the events we go to or do, or in interviews, there's certain questions people ask, and I say to them often, if you don't know the answer to that, you shouldn't be going. You shouldn't be starting a business. You shouldn't be self-employed. You know, you shouldn't. And I mean that. And then it wakes them up a little bit. You know, I'll say, look, if you don't know the answer to that, I think a lot of people know the answer, right? But they want you to say it.
Yeah, they're looking for that certainty that someone who's reached the levels that you've reached thinks the same as them, I think sometimes. But also what they don't want is someone who blows smoke up their arse and just says, oh yeah, you're right. I think most people want someone to say, actually, if you think that, you're in fucking trouble, or if you're doing that, you're not going to be successful. But listen, I could talk to you for hours, Charlie. We're coming towards the end of it, but is there anything else you really want to get across about WeFix that is...
I'm just going to say, if people want to try us, you know, we're centrally based in London. We cover all the services. And if you're not happy with us, don't pay us. Simple as that. You know what I mean? But believe me, we got the best people. We got I believe, a lovely offices and the knowledge and the experience to work with people that want us. So, you know, I'm not going to over promote us. These vans will be the most recognisable vans in London in 12 months' time. The other company, we got them, which they was then. And again, it's important that the vans are tidy, the people in it are presentable people, and you get for what you pay for it. A top quality service. So that's it, please.
But you, in a way, you would say that, and I know you deliver it. But it's not just you saying that.
Oh.
The trust pilots, the reviews, everything else. You were constantly voted London's best service company, weren't you?
And we will be again. Why you say that, Mike? Just something I'll say here. When I first started after the apprenticeship, and I went immediately self-employed, and you look pretty young then. I think I was 19, and I used to go to jobs, and people say to me, "Oh, like, do you know what you're doing? You look a bit young, right?" And this was the greatest one I used to land on them. And they say, "You're really sure you don't think, you know what, And I say, put it like this. I said, don't pay me if I don't get it right.
Yeah.
And I said, just to give you a clue, nobody's ever not paid me.
Yeah.
Like, and if you got that.
And just when I went on the website, straight into those guarantees, and yet many people in all businesses, I can't give a guarantee. Well, does that mean you're not confident of your business then? Oh, but what if one of our team fuck up? Well, why are you employing them if you're worried that they couldn't do the job? So, look, I know that you, I think one of the things I like about you is you're very unassuming and you take for granted a lot of what to you is common sense, but it isn't that common, but it is refreshing. To me, and I spend a lot of time with a lot of entrepreneurs, is that passion never goes. It's the same at 90 as it'll be at 19, for those people. And there's a lady called Marcel Speller that I used to do some charity stuff with, a charity called localgiving.com. And she was in her 70s, but I haven't seen her for a couple of years. Actually, I should catch up. But she was like a Duracell bunny. I mean, bloody hell, the energy that woman had.
Right.
And at the time, I was probably, 50. And I used to think, when I'm older, I'll calm down, or at this point, I'll calm down. And then seeing her, like, whoa, she's on it all the time, I thought, actually, why the fuck should I calm down? I like what I do. I like who I am. And if you find I say to people a lot, if you find your passion, you find your purpose. If you find your purpose, you'll be successful. Yeah. As long as you follow that purpose. And it's great to see the passion you still have for it, mate. And long may it last.
I actually think it's going to be more passion now. You know what I mean? I've calmed down a lot with things. I've relaxed a lot. I don't need to do 24 hours a day. But now it's putting your passion and ideas so other people see, like, grandson and family. And, like, I came in the day, look, let's do this. And, all anybody has to do is step it up, believe in yourself. And you said such an important thing. If you're doing something that you like, then it's a winning formation. I believe we're all good at something.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm good at
That's what I say. Find your passion, you find your purpose. Whatever.
Once you've got that though, Mike, once you know, like, what you're good at, maximise on it. Everyone's good at something.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the first podcast we did was probably 18 months ago, and this was forming and what have you. But the energy you have now that you've started it again, of course you couldn't start it before because of anti-competes and things, but you can see it's like it's like you've got an extra zip of energy back again.
Undoubtedly, I've got newer ideas, and we want to be top of the game, and I'm not trying to compete with the other company. Good luck to them. Loads of work out there, but always remember, people will always pay for quality. And
what a great place to finish. But I do just want to ask one more question. I know that in trades, the big goal for most trade businesses, if not most businesses in the UK, is 7 figures, get to the million.
Well, £1 million.
You did that years and years and years and years ago. Are you going for the billion?
That's a good question. I think you know the answer.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I try as much as possible to talk about what's right versus what's wrong, right versus left at the moment. And what's wrong, I can say, is British politics at the moment.
Well,
frustrating lots and lots of people. That's probably not British, probably globally. I know that you're very passionate because you want the country to do the right thing by its people and that. Where's your thoughts at the moment and the conversations you've been having?
On the political side, and we agree.
You've almost got the same colours as Reform and Tories.
It's not a shock, is it? Not a shock, is it? No. On the, we said this is about business and working and helping people to get out there and make it happen. And we said we won't do too much on politics. I mean, I can talk all day on politics, and Labour, I can't say any more worse about them than what you've already heard about. But moving on, I've been a Reform supporter. I've worked with Nigel in the past. He's now asked me if I'd like to be a candidate or councillor in the local elections, and I've obviously gone yes, and I'm looking so much forward to that. There's talk about I've moved to Spain, you'll have to be a resident there. 1 minute you go in Spain, 1 minute I will do whatever it takes to do the first step of helping to get reform into number 10. If that means coming back here, if that means being out night and day to push it, then I'll do it.
And you can see that happening in the next few years as well now.
We'll do it. I mean, look,
absolutely,
I said this the other day to someone. I said, I should go and have a bet on it. They went, all the betting scandal. I shouldn't say that. But, you know, I put £1 million on reform will be getting in, £1 million they won't last the full term.
Right.
And another £1 million that Rachel Reeves will be gone very, very soon.
But if there were like 3, 4, 5 things that you could say to any trades business, get this bit right, what would be the kind of keys to help most of them grow? You got any key points or
For re-apprentices?
Apprentices who might want to go on their own, or just a plumber out there, or an electrician who's earning 150 grand, and he don't know, how do I get to the million, the magic million that you want to get to?
With an apprentice, like, you know, you've done the foundation, the apprenticeship, you're now ready to really like make a fortune. And you have two choices as an apprentice. You either work for a company, which is, you know, waste of time, or you start getting your own work and you can maybe just keep yourself busy all the time, or you can grow. And that means employing people.
Yeah.
And, you know, anybody says, hey, all the time, I'm on like £500,000, I want to get to £1 million. How can I upscale or something? I said, well, employ people. And then they go, but I don't want to do that. You know, I'm working out of a cupboard under the stairs and I don't want to get an office. Okay. You know,
stay small.
Yeah. I will say to people, Mike, the worst thing in business is also the best business. So for me, the worst thing in business is staff and employing them, the aggravation and getting rid of the pests. And it's also the best thing because when they're good and they've got it right, you're growing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But you, and I remember, I know you're aligned with that as well. One of the things Alfie Best said, and I won't forget it, he says, I built a business to about £1 million virtually on my own. I had a few people, a few subbies, I do ducking and diving, working all the hours, killing myself. He said, and I probably, could do that again on my own. But he said, I'm never going to get to 10 million, never going to get to 100 million, and certainly not going to get to 1 billion without amazing people, amazing systems, and building on those systems and recognizing people. Now, people are important to you. You pay more than anyone else.
Of course. You want the best, you pay the best. I mean, they're all obvious things to people, and they're all barriers.
Common sense ain't that common, though, sometimes. But, yeah.
You are right. I find it difficult because a lot of people at these events that you do, I've been along and helped out with, and a few other places that we've met where events are going on, Alfie Best and Joseph, whatever his name, Valentino or something, and you get the same questions from people. How do I grow my business? Don't complicate it. You know what I mean? Don't use a bit of common sense. You know what I mean? I was told years ago when I was an apprentice, I'd become a self-employed plumber. I worked in my mate's shop at Greenwich. He had flats above. And, really think I'm cracking it off, doing his plumbing, shooting off, doing a few jobs, get a call from London, got to go and do this job. Oh, that's all right. And they just said to me, he said, you know what you need to do, didn't you? He said, you need to employ more Charlies. What do you mean, Nick?
More people like you.
Yeah. He said, well, you can't be here, there and there. And once he put that thought in my mind, he said, he said, you will only ever earn one man's money because you're one man. He said, so you've got to get all these Charlies. And I thought, it's so simple. And we all think at the time, Mike, and I'll guarantee you would have done it before you employed people, no one can do it like you, we think.
Well, you're 100% though on the language you use as well, because what you didn't say is it's so easy. But you said it's so simple. Yeah. And sometimes people confuse the two. The best businesses are simple businesses. Now, they're hard work because you're going to have to go through a few frogs to find the princes. You know, you're going to have a few people who promise the earth and then become unreliable. You're going to have some suppliers that promise it and let you down. But you churn through them. You keep looking for the best. And I know I've never seen anyone set the standards you do on arrival times and presentation and everything else. But your customers know it.
They love it.
And that's what they want. And
they love it.
Just again, speaking to Ash earlier, you were saying about, we might go in and do one little job. and then they'll say, "Oh, while you're here, do you do that? Or could you do this?" And
In plumbing, in home services, and I think it happens in a lot of things, people test you. So they give you a little something first. I mean, loads of times we've had guys go around, put a new pair of taps in, and then she rings up and says, "Can you give me a price for 2 bathrooms?" So they're testing you. You know what I mean, Mike? They've got a little leak, but they want the house plumbed out. So the better you present yourself, and
you're not going to go to that big spend until you trust them on the small
that's
spend.
exactly. It's a bit like, I don't know, you going in a shop and you think, I love these suits, and you want, it don't quite work like that, but you want 3 suits. You don't buy 3, you buy 1, didn't you? And let's see how it goes. And that's it. And it's the same with it. People are testing you all the time. And once they've got your trust, I always used to say, Mike, when a customer uses us on the old company, I'll now say, when a customer uses WeFix, they will be a customer of WeFix now for life, unless we fuck up.
And if they're not, you've done something wrong.
Exactly.
I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I could always spend hours with Charlie, but his time is in demand, and we will come back again. If you've liked this, like, subscribe, share, and do send us some questions. I'll always forward them on to Charlie. And if you're a tradesperson looking to earn 100 or 200 grand a year in a great business that's going places, then you might want to drop them a note.